Well, today the BC Supreme Court sentenced Winston Blackmore to a 6-month conditional sentence order followed by 12 months probation, and James Oler to a 3-month conditional sentence order and a 12-month probation order. The court concluded that a jail sentence was necessary for the polygamy offense which they were both convicted of, but concluded that the community would not be endangered by allowing them to serve that jail sentence in the community. In reaching her decision, Justice Donegan carefully balanced a number of factors, exercised restraint and leniency in dealing with this first instance of a modern-day polygamy conviction. This is the first polygamy conviction in over 100 years in Canada, and so the issues that the court had to address were novel, and the circumstances of these particular offenders were unique.
Is there a response the Crown has? Is the Crown happy with this?
The Crown respects the court's decision and the process that brought us to this stage. It has been a long court process culminating in these sentences, and the court was careful in her reasons, balancing the various principles of sentencing that the law requires.
Is this going to act as a deterrent for future cases, do you think?
The court concluded that there has been a deterrent effect already simply by the convictions being entered for polygamy. She also concluded that the conditional sentence order would, in the circumstances of these offenders, deter others from committing other offenses of this nature and express society's denunciation of polygamy.
Now, we heard that some of the wives of both Oler and Blackmore were as young as 15. So why aren't there sexual interference charges or anything of that sort? It seems like that might be a more troubling thing to people in the public.
The charge approval decisions in this case were made by Special Prosecutor Peter Wilson, who had a mandate to examine and approve charges in relation to this bountiful investigation. Certainly, the ages of some of Mr. Blackmore's and Mr. Oler's wives at the time of their marriages was an aggravating factor that the Crown alleged at the sentencing hearing, and the court addressed that as an aggravating factor when she determined that a jail sentence would be appropriate before allowing it to be served in the community.
Do you feel justice has been served for these young girls who've been by all accounts sexually assaulted in the name of religion?
That's an interesting question. Certainly the court process is one that we respect, and it has run a very long course in this case. The message that the court has sent clearly through this prosecution and through the reference case that preceded it is that polygamy is unlawful under the laws of Canada. And that those who engage in polygamy could be facing the kind of sentences we've seen today.
And just for clarification, what happens with Mr. Oler given the fact that he lives in Alberta?
I understand that there is an intention that an application will be brought to transfer the administration of his conditional sentence order and probation order to Alberta. I can't speak on how that process will proceed or the timing of it.
Does he have to stay in BC until that's worked out, or can he go home today? Or?
I'm not able to speak to that issue. He is required to report to a conditional sentence supervisor in this community now.
It's a very historical sentencing here. It's hard to wrap my head around 6 months house arrest. It doesn't seem like that much of a deterrent to me, and I honestly don't know if that will serve to other people as well. Do you in your heart believe that this will effectively make a difference?
The court heard all of the circumstances of these offenders and their offenses, and took into consideration the long history of litigation on this issue. In her view, the fact that a sentence was ordered, that a conviction was entered, has some deterrent effect. And in all of the circumstances of these offenders, the conditional sentence orders that were imposed, she concluded would have a deterrent effect. We respect the court's decision, which was carefully reasoned and considered all of the factors that were required to by law, and we respect the process that brought us here.